And I realized that traveling kind of like informs your perspective on the world and your outlook, and then your perspective informs your mindset.
Exactly.
What you think about.
It's the Soul Engineer back again with another episode of Engineer Thoughts. Welcome back. I'm currently editing the episode you're about to watch, and I just realized it's too long to put into one big episode. Because we're recording in two different locations, I think it's best I split it into two episodes. Be sure to check out this episode and be sure to wait for part 2 of the same episode. This week's guest is Mpho from Deep Dive. He also has a podcast of his own. I think he's really good at what he does, and the guests he brings on, oh my gosh. I don't think I could gain any more insight from elsewhere besides the Deep Dive. Be sure to check him out as well. I'll link his stuff down below. I hope you enjoy. Anyways, let's get on to it. See you when I see you. It's the Soul Engineer back again with another episode of Engineer Thoughts, the podcast. We are now on a separate YouTube channel, so if you're not aware, check it out. If you're watching this, it's probably on YouTube, so check it out there. Today, I am with someone special. Special to the world, special to me, and he's doing great things, man. Mr. Mpho Mutaurira from Deep Dive. How are you, man?
I'm alright, man. How you doing?
You good?
Make me sound important.
You are, aren't you important?
I guess. So.
I mean, yeah, man. I think you are important. So yeah, we can just dive. We can just dive into what I wanted us to talk about today. So before we go any further, what could you tell us about yourself?
What could I say about myself?
Yeah.
Where do I start? I guess my name is Mpho Mutaurira.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a passionate person.
You're a passionate
That's where
person.
I can start. Yeah, I'm a passionate person. Obviously, I'm a child of God. That's how I like to call myself. I'm a child of God, but I'm a very passionate person. In everything that I try to do. So I try to bring in 100% of who I am.
Yeah.
And that passion that I just have for what I do.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What would you say you're currently passionate about, and what do you say?
What I'm currently passionate about.
Yeah, what's really making you move forward?
I guess that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm doing. I have a tutoring company.
You have a tutoring
Very
company.
passionate
Yeah.
about that, kids, and I love to see growth.
Oh yeah.
In kids, and get a kid from failing, a child that's really struggling in school, and be able to see them go and transform and actually build their confidence, build their build and become better at what they do.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm doing, including the Deep Dive. Very passionate about that, and just even things outside of business, music. I have a singing group called Mpho. We have a singing group called Mpho. So I'm actually passionate about. So just to sum it up, whatever I do, I'm passionate about.
You're passionate about.
My life is. I really suck at something that I'm not passionate about.
I think I agree with you. It's very hard to wake up in the morning and think about and try to do something that you're really not up for, you're really not passionate about. You won't give 100%. I don't even think you'd give like 90%. And eventually at some point, I think it's happened to me quite more often than not. Eventually at some point you start cracking, or you start having like what's this called? Not breakdowns, but it just stops working for you. You're like, nah, I can't handle this anymore.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's really cool that you do mostly what you're passionate about.
Because it's already hard enough.
Exactly.
Doing something you love.
Exactly.
Now imagine doing something you're not even into that much. It's torture. That's just how I put it.
It's torture, eh?
Torture, dude.
Yeah. So tell us about Deep Dive. What exactly do you do? What exactly is Deep Dive?
Deep Dive.
Yeah.
The name comes from exactly what we try to do.
Yeah.
We try to dive deep into the journeys of entrepreneurs, of change makers, of people that have a story. And we try to that's us diving deep into their story.
Yeah.
So what we do at the deep dive is we bring people that have a story that can inspire.
Oh yeah,
And
that's cool.
we basically publish the story to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially in the line of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's undefined in so many respects.
It's undefined.
So we need to hear these stories of people that have gone to make it.
Yeah.
That is why our mantra is it's possible and it can be done.
It can be done.
So we need these stories that will show us that, you know what, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
I think not even maybe doing it, but I just think I can give this a shot.
Just a shot. I
Just
think
a
that's
shot,
worth
yeah.
that's worth the try. Yeah. I've always had this problem with my YouTube channel. When I was starting it, you know, people start asking, "Yo, dog, what's a YouTube channel about?" It's very hard to explain because one day I want to talk about tech, the other day I want to talk about school, the other day I want to talk about life, philosophy, and everything. Do you sometimes have that problem when you like maybe bring guests onto your show? Does it sometimes feel like, "Ish, I don't have direction," or I am doing like too many categories at once?
I guess to a great degree, yes. I also have a Facebook page. That's why I post a lot of content.
Oh, yeah?
Like business content and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's where I have most of the problem there.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I want to say, but then I'm like, too soon.
Too soon.
Or then I'm like, you know, there's a lot of that I want to say and put out to the world. But what I've realized over time is that I put out content that's only, you know, it has to be authentic to me.
Yeah.
And it has to be something that I believe in the deepest sense. And something that I think can be valuable to somebody else.
That's true.
It has to meet that criteria.
That's true.
Because even if it's important to me, but it's not really going to bring any value to anyone, then it's not really making sense.
It's not
But for the show, I don't know if, I think a lot of people don't know this. I bring speakers, I just study what they do.
Yeah.
And then I bring them on. I don't necessarily like structure my
What you're
questions.
gonna do, yeah.
I just come through and we just hit it.
Discuss with them.
because I just know exactly what I want to talk about.
Ah, yeah.
And then we just go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I
just
think
like flow like
it
that.
makes it easier because you said you study the guests, so like
Yeah.
you don't have to like, oh yeah, let's talk about this, let's talk about this, let's talk about.
Yeah.
It's like having a conversation with someone you know because you already know about them. You're just gonna ask, dude, I'm so interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about this? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is actually. That's what it is. I've had people ask me, dog, so how do you structure your questions? I'm
Yeah.
like, dog, I've been a curious child my whole life.
Yeah.
Like it was growing up, it was actually a problem for me. 'Cause
Yeah.
people would ask me, dog, stop asking me so many questions, dog. What's your problem?
What's your
what
problem?
are you doing? Like, asking me, what are you doing, bro? Like, so it was a problem for me growing
Yeah.
up, but then, you know, it's turning into a bit of my career and what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So right now it's just, you know, people find it hard to believe, but I just flow with the question. I like the organic flow of it.
Ah, yeah.
And just
Cool.
it's interesting to me. So that's
true.
Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite guest to study, and what would you say, or who would you say was your favorite guest to interview? It can be two different people, or it can be the same person.
Yeah, this one is a tough one. We have about right now we have about 6 episodes.
Yeah.
The next one is dropping today in a few hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
You should check it out.
on YouTube.
Yes.
But a lot of people that are maybe on YouTube may not know that we started on Facebook.
I remember, yeah, you started on Facebook.
Yeah. So, hey man, I think that's a pretty tough one. That's a pretty tough one because they're so different. So it's hard to actually, because even the way I go about finding them out, it's just something that's interesting. I look at your story.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'm like, this is a powerful
cool
story.
story, yeah.
Yeah. So, and their stories are very different. So it's hard to actually put a metric onto them and say this one was the most interesting or
This one is better
or
than
what.
this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I can say is just maybe because people have different characters. Other speakers are more forthcoming when you ask them questions. Others kind of warm up to, you know, the episode as
Oh, yeah,
it
you
keeps
have to
flowing.
prod them,
So
yeah.
I have to probe them like that. But generally,
Yeah.
I don't think I've brought a speaker on that I'm not that has not really lived up to the billing. That has not really lived up to. I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, not one.
Nah, at least that's good. That's always my fear, man. Not bringing up, but like inviting someone and they're either not up for the conversation or they kind of hold some stuff back.
Yeah.
Or I genuinely am afraid of a boring guest. I don't know how best to put it. But like, not boring in the sense that I'm gonna start snoring while you're speaking, but like, I try ask you questions, like...
Hey, there's no flow.
Yeah, there's no flow.
Right,
it's very hard for me to reach you.
Right.
And I think that's one thing I kind of resonate with.
Yeah.
Yeah, some speakers, you do, there's going to be that build up. But then some people just like go straight into it. It's usually people who you're cool with. It's usually people who are used to. But
I hear you though. Because then I remember like the first, second, third episode.
Yeah.
Because although I'm just the guy that flows with questions, I had to kind of, know what I'm going to ask.
Fair.
I remember sometime I was interviewing a speaker. It was actually a woman. It was called Khao, and she was speaking. Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, this young lady is so eloquent, man. I'm not thinking about it. I'm like, how do I become this eloquent? Then I kind of forgot the question I was supposed to ask, and then I could hear that she's getting to the end of it. I don't know if it happens to you.
Yeah.
Like you could hear someone is coming to the end, but now you have to like jump in.
Yeah.
And then, hey man, I just had to be like, I had to. It's funny because that time she said something, then I had to repeat what she said. Because now I don't have any questions.
To buy time.
Just buy time. And then I'm like, yeah.
Sometimes you kind of like just emphasize the point and you let them continue, so you buy time.
You're like, yeah.
What was I saying, guys?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nah, yeah. And you as an interviewer, or when you're doing when you're recording and when you're interviewing people, do you sometimes panic in front of camera? Or let's say the first time you were recording, how did it feel for you?
The first time I was recording, that was Kagiso Morocco. That was a live.
Morox.
Yeah, I really respect
Shout
that
out to
man and
Morox
his
Properties,
journey and what he has done. In a very big sense, he's really the people that, if you'd ask me maybe in 10 years from now, who inspired you, I would name him out.
I think I would
like
too,
an older
man.
brother to me. Yeah,
I would.
Like
his journey is really cool.
Yeah, so his episode, I didn't really, I wasn't scared or I didn't panic because it's like I'm having a conversation with my older brother.
Fair,
and he was just flowing, and he's a guy that can talk, man. He's a guy that's used to the camera, so he can talk. The only time maybe I think I panic is the intro, because I mean even the guys, the production team guys, they know. Because he's laughing right now. It's just like he's laughing right. He knows the production team. They know that in the beginning, because I want to get the intro right.
Oh yeah,
so
has to be right.
Normally, all the episodes I come. This is how I'm going to introduce the speaker.
Yeah,
and I come in mind.
Wow,
like the whole did 1 2 3 did 1 2 3 did 1 2 3. So I think maybe because I put a lot of expectation on myself to get it right, that maybe causes a bit of panic. That maybe causes a bit of panic, but then I just run it over. I just run it over and just just do it anyway.
And I mean, it ends up working out, right?
It does end up working out, and the guys here that I work with, they do a phenomenal job in that respect.
Yeah,
they know how to edit and
how to do
everything. They know what I don't even have to say a lot of things, man. They just do a good job. So I'm proud to be working with guys that know what they do and also know how to, because they study me well also, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to the production team.
Yeah.
And well, it was nice to get to know about you. Yeah. Now I think let's dive in a bit into what I wanted us to discuss today.
Yeah.
I really liked forgot to mention this in the introduction. Brief background: we've known each other since 2014. We used to go to the same school, and we basically lived in the same place for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
that's how together. I think that's how we actually
exactly
bond.
Yeah, we sang together and did a whole lot of stuff together. Yo, get the key. Yeah. Yeah, man. And so, yeah, you know, we grew up discussing a whole lot of crazy stuff,
Sure.
a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of things. And I think you're one of the people who I can say you are as curious as I am.
Yeah.
You don't have to be knowledgeable, but, you know, curiosity can get you somewhere, can get a conversation flowing.
Sure.
I think we've had like off-camera discussions that have blown both of our minds. One that comes straight to my mind is the time we went to that Steve Harvey event.
Yeah.
We actually bumped into each other.
No, it was mild.
It was mild, and
It was mild.
we just started, you know, going off about everything, about books, about life, about business.
Duh.
So, I think let me ask you: would you by chance know how your curiosity came to be?
Hey man, that's a good question, man. I'm usually the one asking them questions. Now,
Yeah, now the,
Hey man, I have to think about it
Tables
for a
turned.
bit. My curiosity, I think it was developed over
Yeah.
time. Because if I look back at my life, I lived in so many different places.
fair, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Ramontshotsabong, Kunzi,
You lived in
Muchudi.
Tsabong?
We lived in Bradford in the UK for a year, and then we lived. I've lived in so many different places. So, if I look at that,
Yeah.
then you know, Ega and all that. So, I think because of many different places and many different people and many different experiences,
Many experiences.
kind of shaped the way I started looking at the world.
Yeah.
Because I would always look at, say, people do things in a certain way this way. Yeah, I remember like in Bradford when we were in primary. My dad was doing his master's there, so he had to. There was a time when he had to. School was starting at 9 o'clock.
9 a.m.
Like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And he had to go earlier. He had to be in school at his university around 6 in the morning.
Wow.
So we had to leave with him in the morning
To go to
because my
school.
mom was working like night shift and all
shift.
that. So she would come. She'd be very tired. And I remember we went to the school and we'd get there around 6:30. It was called Asher Street. Mm-hmm. And we'd get there and I'd find those white people, they were very nice to us. They
Yeah.
would give us anything we'd want. Like, they'd tell us, what do you guys want to have for breakfast? Pizza, brownies, anything. Anything, it was there. And it blew my mind just how to, I don't know, man. I just started thinking about it like,
Generosity.
like not even generosity, but just how, because before then, I was in standard 1 in Hake Primary. in
Yeah.
Tsabo.
Yeah.
And we'd just go to school and we'd have bohobe and whatnot. And what is this thing? I think we don't home mince.
Yeah.
We'd
Yeah.
have mince and whatnot. And I actually didn't eat the food in school because my mom was like, it's cooked in a batch and whatever.
Oh yeah, it's not healthy.
And by then we didn't eat meat. So I was just blown away just by differences in how life is here and there. And I think it started making me probe and just ask questions like, why is this like this? Why is that like this? Because my parents would be like, hey man, it would be going with this boy in a car, like around the age of 5, 6, 7, you know, the age where I start talking a lot.
Yeah.
Like my parents would be like, yeah, you ask so many questions. Man. Like you ask so many questions. And I think I'm glad also that it wasn't, they were not trying to shut me down with asking questions. They were just like saying it so that I know it. Like you ask many
You're
questions.
asking me
You used
many
to ask so
questions,
many
bro.
questions when you're growing up. So I think that curiosity is how, just basically that's how it. I
just
don't know if I
grows,
answered your question properly.
Yeah, no, you did actually. You did extensively.
Yeah.
You brought up an important thing that I've always held in my mind, especially I'd say I've had the same background as you of living in many different places. Might not be the exact same places, but like knowing life here is different from life there, and you ask yourself, why is this and why is this? Yeah. So I always stress the importance of being in another place for like, even if it's like a year, 2 years, 6 months, just going to see something else, going to see a new environment, moving to a new place, traveling, even if it's not traveling for like 3 weeks, but like traveling for a week, a weekend, go to Kasane, go to Lesotho, I don't know, whatever you means allow you to travel.
100%.
Go see them, and man,
100%. And you're very right about that.
yeah,
You're very, very right. And just to add a short story here.
Yeah.
I think in 2019 we went to Sentin. I went with Don Corras. We went there. And
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
yeah, we went to we went with Don Corras, and it was a dope experience for
Yeah.
me. Like it was just a weekend, man.
Just a
But that was
weekend.
my first time in Sentin.
Wow.
And we stayed with people we've never met before.
Yeah.
So it was a different experience. We toured around, and I realized that traveling kind of like informs your perspective
Yes,
on the
it
world and your
does.
outlook, and then your perspective informs your mindset.
Exactly.
The way you think
Wow.
about
This guy's speaking deep stuff.
the way you think about stuff.
Yeah.
And that for me was a big game changer for me. Because even the last guest I interviewed, I asked him the traveling question too, because I wanted to see how he took it. Because he had just been on a vacation in Durban.
Oh,
And I was
that's
seeing
cool.
his stories, and I'm like,
Yeah.
for sure, I have to ask him this.
Yeah.
Because that's when you've never seen, you'll never know. And you don't
never
know
know,
the
man.
extent to which things can go. Because I remember then at that church, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but whatever, man.
We'll
At that
find
church
out.
in Sentin, they had a TMI project, total member involvement.
Yeah.
So they said we went there in July. So in May, I remember these figures. I may not get them 100% right, but I mean very close to them.
Might be. Yeah.
I remember they said for the month of May they had raised about maybe 125K.
Yo.
This is a TMI project.
Yo.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to compare to us or whatever, but
No, it's facts.
125K, and then June it was about 147.
This is in 1 month.
This is in 1 month, my dog. And I remember them because it blew my mind.
Yeah.
This is TMI. This is not church building. This is not.
not.
This is not. This is TMI. Where
It's just like a sub project.
bruh.
Sub project
And then-
under a big.
Yeah, and then July they had maybe somewhere close to 140, and we went there mid-July.
Mid-July.
So definitely by the end of July it would have like ballooned. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
'cause
in
the
my
show
mind I
was
was like,
growing.
wait, how does this even happen? And then I started, the questions started hitting. Okay, this is what it is. So when you talk about traveling like that, because you have traveled, I think more
Yeah.
than I have actually,
Maybe, I don't know.
it really informs the way you think about the world.
Yeah.
And ask anybody that has not traveled much, hey man, you probably wouldn't have a long conversation with them.
Yeah, it's quite boxed in.
Yeah, it's quite boxed in, and probably they have maybe a fixed mindset about
Yeah.
how they think about the world.
Yeah.
But it's not just about traveling; it's also about like reading,
Yes.
and many other things that can inform your perspective. But traveling for me is a big thing.
I think it's a big thing as well. Now that I think about it, I do understand that the people who don't have the incentive to travel or the means to travel, and I think that's okay. But at least if you can travel, read.
Yeah.
Because books are, to me, books are the best way to travel while sitting down.
Straight,
It's
straight.
bro, you can go far. You can develop different mental models.
Yeah, but you actually travel when you're sitting down.
Well,
I just wanted to say that, man. I mean,
yes.
But
Well,
yeah, I get
traveling without moving, let's say.
straight.
And I think there's always something to read out there, man. If you can't read, ask stories. Listen to stories. Find
Sure.
out. When we were young, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, they used to sit us down, tell us stories. Some might be fictitious stories. Some might be stories of like their travels and all of
Yeah.
that. And we're like, wow, this is what the world is. And
Yeah.
I think that's what motivated me to travel as well. Because I saw other people travel. I was like, I want to see that with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
I want to inform my own perspective. And like you said, traveling also kind of like, it informs your perspective. And for me, what traveling does is it kind of reinforces some stereotypes, but it also kills lots of stereotypes. My best travel experience so far, I'd say, is when I first went to Russia. When you go to like another country, especially like a majority white country, people are like, yo, man, the people are there so racist. People there, they don't care about black people. I'm like, but you haven't been there. You haven't been there. I'm like, I'll find out for myself.
Yeah,
If that's the case, and I'm struggling to live there, I'll come back.
straight.
I'll take my loss. Man, that was the opposite. I was also told stories of, hey, man, there's no church in Russia, Christianity is banned and all the like. I'm like, I get there, literally the first Sabbath, I was in church.
Look at that, man.
First Sabbath, I was in church. I didn't cook lunch. They gave me lunch. I was given food. I was like,
so much for being racist.
are these the people? Are these the people that a lot of stories, like a lot of bad things are being said about them on television, on media? I'm like,
Right.
we really need to step away from listening to other people's stories, which is kind of weird because I'm also telling my story.
Yeah.
But and move towards like experiencing it for ourselves. Because once we experience it, we're like, oh, but it's different.
Yeah.
Or it might be the case, but you might experience it
In
differently.
a different way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Man, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. And granted, there may be some racist people, for sure. Even
Exactly.
African,
Yeah, that's what I say.
But
yeah.
there's also stereotypes about Africa, dog. There's people that will be like, man,
Exactly.
hey, man, I have a friend in Ghana, man. You ever met that guy? Like, when people
Yeah.
think like we still wear, those, we kill impalas and whatever for lunch.
Exactly.
And we do all these things.
Hey.
And I feel for Africa, man, there's a huge stereotype about Africa. Like, every time we show Africa, it's just those kids who are starving. The fly, Trevor Noah's joke where he was talking about the fly, the
fly,
flies, and
the eye.
hey, that whole thing, man. There's always that.
Yeah.
This is just how Africa is thought to be.
Yeah.
And I also think that outside of that, this may be controversial, but I also think outside of that, we're also not just wildlife people, man.
Why not?
We're not just wildlife people. Like, I feel like the main thing, even us in Africa, I think, let me just talk about Africa. Let me just talk about Botswana.
Yeah.
Even us in Bots, man, sometimes I think we kind of overshadow what we do that may be amazing by just our wildlife.
Because of our wildlife.
Like, we're just saying, anytime somebody comes from outside of Botswana, especially outside of the continent, we just want to show them wildlife.
They think of wildlife.
And just wildlife and all that. But there's so much that we're doing
There's a lot, man.
that people don't know about.
A lot.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with my parents, I think, last week. I was like, you know what? Wildlife and all, it's cool and all what we've been doing. Diamonds are cool and all. I do understand, like, the second largest producer of diamonds. Such a small country, that's a big feat. But, man, we're doing better things, man. Look at what we're doing in athletics. Look at what we're doing in the arts.
Man.
What we're doing in music.
Man.
I was like, come on. It's
Dog.
It's stuff like this that we could be putting more out because I think they take less effort to put more out than going to find a picture of a rhinoceros, going to take a picture of a rhinoceros.
Bruh.
It's easier to kind of tell people, yo, man, let's shoot a video and let's put it up on YouTube than to go into the wild and wait for a rhino.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's people for that. Even us, we do like
Yeah, people for that.
But there's so much that we are doing also.
Yeah.
That, we don't even give, I think, to say it properly, we don't even give ourselves enough credit for.
Not at all.
Like, look at all these other guys that are doing some dope stuff.
Yeah.
All the artists and whatever, like you say.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing things. Look at how African music, the Afro music is just killing the
game,
the
man.
game. Like, everyone just wants to sing that way now. Look at the dances we have. All these types of dances that we have that
And they've been
they
around
wanna
for
now learn.
years.
Yeah, I feel like Africa now, I feel like even the world now is starting to realize that
Africa
is really more than we really thought it is.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It's and one thing I also speaking of that, one thing I experienced when I travel is that I am basically an ambassador of where I'm from. So by default, I'm an ambassador of Africa. So
Sure.
I kind of have to show people that this is what Africa means. You know, when they see me speaking English, they're like, "You speak English?" I'm like, yeah, I speak English. What do you think? But I also speak my home language. What do you
Exactly.
think? We are Tswana. And they're like, "Wow, you know 2 languages," and I'm learning a third. You're like, you know 3 languages now. So it's amazing because in Africa, you know, there are many people. At least, I think in Botswana, most of us know at least 2 languages.
Yeah,
Setswana and English.
definitely.
Then there are people who know those plus Kalanga, plus Zulu, plus Ndebele. There's a guy I schooled with. I don't know if you know Nigel Nyoni.
Yeah, I know Nigel.
Nigel, guys.
I know Nigel. Yeah, I know Nigel.
Nigel knows, I think, at least 7 languages fluently, like to a conversational level. And this is
like my dad too, because my dad is, born in Kwekwe.
Yeah.
He knows Shona and Ndebele.
You
Shona, those other ones that are close to Shona
those
and
are
Ndebele.
close to Shona
he
and
knows them
Ndebele.
too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like whenever you travel with Nigel, man, he will find a way to talk to someone who doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Right now, he posted something last week about meeting some French guys, and he did French in high school. And
Yeah, I did a bit of French too.
he also did some French. That's really cool. I think French is a good language to learn. And he's talking about
It's a
how
sexy language, dog.
you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French, man. French is high tier, man.
I think I'm gonna add it to my
French is high
list.
tier. Which are the ones you want to learn? Like let's say you at 60. Which language do you wanna know? Like, do you wanna be good with?
We're good with, I'd say, French and German and Portuguese. I wanna speak the languages spoken in Africa. So like those 3 are like the major ones. Maybe German we can drop it off, but Portuguese and French, maybe Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Those are on my list.
Nice.
I have to find time for them.
For me, it's obviously Shona and English I speak.
Yeah.
I also wanna really learn my mother tongue,
Which is
Shona.
Shona.
Not my mother tongue, because it's my dad.
Your mother tongue.
My mother tongue. But I do hear it, but I'm not fluent because my dad is the only one who knows it in the family, so he can't really speak it. We're not speaking it at home, but I want to learn that really well, and also in Ndebele. I think these ones, I'm not gonna count them in because these ones I must know them, like, for sure.
These are must.
But the ones I want to know is French. I do know French a bit. I can, parler le français.
Okay.
A bit.
Okay.
A bit. I did it in secondary, but I'm not that good with it now because I've not been practicing.
Yeah.
French, Spanish, Portuguese. When I have a conversation with Ronaldo, man, it's supposed to come with a deep dive.
That's supposed to, exactly.
Yeah, man. French, Spanish, Portuguese, and definitely Mandarin. And Greek. Greek is just for the Bible. I want to.
You really want to
feel
understand
the depth of it.
Yeah,
in the Greek, man.
Hey, it's to study theology, man. You know what? I wanted to do theology. Anyways, that's another story for another day.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I think I forgot one, which is maybe Swahili.
I think that's the most widely spoken language in Africa.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm thinking of adding it as well.
Sure.
We met some girl who's from Kenya, and like actually some Eastern African guys during an online camp we had during lockdown. It's like, you know what? These guys, of course, they can speak English, but imagine if we could all speak Swahili or could speak to them in Swahili. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And it's easier to learn than the languages I mentioned because they're closer to, all the Bantu language. They're closer to Bantu languages.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea as well. Nah,
Sure, man.
that's a good idea.
Sure.
And yeah, I think we've diverted a bit, but it's not a big deal.
This is what we do, man.
Yeah, it's what we do.
Yeah.
I wanted us to also talk about books because, what's a conversation with you without talking about books?
For sure, man.
So straight off the bat, what are you currently reading?
Damn. I'm reading 90 Days.
Okay.
So, it's written by Manas Broderick. It's 90 Rules for Entrepreneurs.
Ooh.
The Codex Hustle way, something like that.
That's
so
it.
it's just 90 rules. It's startup phase, midway, and then, when you're really now pushing and scaling.
When you want
out.
to exit.
Actually, when you now want to exit.
Yeah.
So it's a dope book. Like the things you have to keep in check. He's a millionaire. I read an article about him about 2 years ago. So actually, when I saw the book, it clicked for me.
I gotta get
Yeah,
it.
it clicked for me.
Yeah.
But that's the book I'm reading. The one I read before, which I really recommend a lot, especially to guys.
Yeah.
It's The Way of the Superior Man.
Okay.
David Data.
I gotta check it out.
That book is heavy, man.
Really?
It's heavy. Like that book was, I had like at least 100 aha moments in that book. At least. I'm actually being conservative. At least 100.
Minimum.
Minimum. Bare minimum, dude.
Wow.
David Data. I think I'm gonna read that book.
Yeah.
It's just that right now I have 2 or 3 that I wanna be reading after this one, but I have to get back to this book at least in the next 3 months. I need to be I need to read that book again and just fully immerse myself in the content.
Do you normally reread books?
Not normally, but
If it
really slaps. I always tell myself, I want to read this book. Actually, most of, like 95% of the books I've read, I've always said I want to reread this book, but
never really happens.
never really happens, man. Never really
I agree
happens.
with you.
But after a while, though, I do get back to them because I think I've read Think and Go Rich twice.
Ooh, still
Or
haven't
3
read it,
times.
but yeah.
And I've read Secrets of the Million Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Oh, yeah.
That one I've read like 4 times. Because that one, there were things like actionable steps that I needed to take.
Like
So
it's the Bible.
I had to read that one so many times because, man, that time my finances were in a mess.
Or it's like
This
a
is back
step-by-step, like it's an actionable book.
There are actually there's actually steps in there. I don't know if
That makes
people would
sense.
take it like that, but for me, there were plain
like
actionable steps in there. I have the things written on my wall,
Wow.
like the rules and everything, because that was the time when I was big on mindset and just changing the way I think about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the laptop is dying.
Yeah, but we can definitely continue even after we shoot.
Yeah, it's not a
Just-
big deal. We just, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's heavy.
Yeah, man. But hey, I was flowing, man.
That was heavy.
Yeah, man.
Let me turn it on. Look for it.